Hello Cowboys Nation, welcome to another video, and without further ado, let's get to another round of news from America's team. Cowboys to interview fired head coach for DC spot on Tuesday. Over the weekend, the Dallas Cowboys held their initial round of interviews for the open defensive coordinator position, as the team seeks to replace the fired Matt Eberflus and find what will be their fourth defensive coordinator in as many years. The initial candidates were more below-the-radar types, with Broncos assistant coach Jim Leonhard talking with the team on Saturday, while Minnesota pass-game coordinator Derod Jones and Cleveland Browns safeties coach Ephraim Bonda were interviewed Friday. The Cowboys have also considered an internal hire of defensive line coach Aaron White-Cotton. And now two more candidates are entering the fray, as the Cowboys have two more interviews lined up, with former Cardinals coach Jonathan Gannon, who was fired last week, as well as fired Ravens defensive coordinator Zach Orr. Gannon, according to a report from Ian Rappaport of NFL Network, will interview with the Cowboys on Tuesday and will also be interviewing for head coaching jobs around the league. Wrote Rappaport, former Cardinals coach Jonathan Gannon had a busy week ahead. Sources tell me and Mike Garafolo that his interview schedule is as follows: Cowboys tomorrow, Commanders Thursday, Titans Sunday. Gannon would be a choice that is more typical of how the Cowboys and owner Jerry Jones like to operate. Jones was clear during the team's season-ending press conference last week that he prefers coaches who are looking for redemption in coordinator roles, and, indeed, the team's recent choices reflect that. Eberflus had been drummed out of Chicago after a disastrous 2024 season before the Cowboys brought him into the defensive coordinator's role. His predecessor, Mike Zimmer, was a flop in Dallas after he'd been fired as the head coach of the Vikings in 2021. Before that, Dan Quinn had been hired in 2021 after being fired by the Falcons. And that plays into part of the Palace intrigue around the choice of defensive coordinator, and whether it will be Jones or head coach Brian Schottenheimer who makes the call. Though Jones claimed that Schottenheimer was on board with the Eberflus hire last year, the two clashed in style, and reports suggest that Schottenheimer will get his say on who fills the role this year. As the Cowboys proceed with their interview slate, the first round is all by video. ESPN's Todd Archer pointed out that the team could still revisit an interview with Jeff Ulbrich of the Falcons, after their original request to interview him was denied by Atlanta's front office. Wrote Archer on Twitter, X, a reminder: Atlanta denied Cowboys' request to speak with DC Jeff Ulbrich, but that could be revisited. Cowboys' first round of interviews are via Zoom. In-person interviews will be for those in round 2, whenever they get to that point. Cowboys urged to make shocking pick on star college coach. Back when Cowboys coach Brian Schottenheimer was getting his first job as an offensive coordinator in the NFL, in 2006, a little-known quarterback at Fitchburg State in Massachusetts named Corey Hetherman was wrapping up his playing career and beginning his coaching journey as the QB coach at his alma mater. He moved slowly through jobs at small schools in the Bay State, Springfield College, Western New England, but finally moved up to Old Dominion, then Maine and James Madison before going to Rutgers in the Big Ten. Now, Hetherman is the defensive coordinator at Miami, a team that is playing for the national championship against Indiana on Monday, January 19th. And according to one prominent Dallas Cowboys observer, veteran columnist Tim Cowlishaw of the Dallas Morning News, Hetherman should be the next defensive coordinator on Schottenheimer's staff. It would be a radical step up for Hetherman, and a bold, off-the-radar hire by Dallas as the team searches for its replacement for Matt Eberflus. But there's some logic to the notion. Cowlishaw recalled that it was Cowboys owner Jerry Jones who once plucked Miami Hurricanes head coach Jimmy Johnson from the collegiate ranks, and rode his talent and confidence to 3 Super Bowls. He creates some parallels with Hetherman, who is a bit more reserved but still passionate and patrolling the sidelines at the U. And he's put forth a dominant defense in his lone season in Miami. Writes Cowlishaw, what if the University of Miami is the right place to look more than 35 years after Jones bought the team from Bum Bright, flew to Austin to fire Tom Landry and then hired Jimmy Johnson away from the Hurricanes to refill the Cowboys' trophy case? Miami allowed 292 yards per game this year, 11th in college football, and leads the nation with 47 sacks. Pro Football Focus ranks their defense number 4 in the nation, and rates them the top pass rush team with a grade of 92.5. Raiders' prediction could lead to blockbuster trade with Cowboys, Eagles, or Patriots. Aside from hiring a head coach, the biggest offseason decision for the Las Vegas Raiders will be what to do with star edge rusher Max Crosby. Crosby and the Raiders did not end the 2025 season on good terms after the team shut him down early despite his wishes to keep playing through the end of the campaign. That, along with the Raiders' status as a perennial loser, has led many to wonder if the Raiders and Crosby might finally change their respective stances and part ways via trade during the offseason. If you ask Just Blog Baby's Levi Dombro, he predicts the Raiders will indeed trade Crosby in 2026. It's a sad state of affairs when Crosby being traded isn't considered that bold a take. But this is where things are in Las Vegas after bottoming out in 2025 and frustrating their superstar defensive end. Crosby should garner at least 2 first-rounders, and Spytek loves his picks, so it could happen, Dombro wrote. If the Raiders do put Crosby on the trade block, the Dallas Cowboys, Philadelphia Eagles, and New England Patriots are 3 teams that will likely be interested. The Cowboys were rumored to have interest in a trade for Crosby at the trade deadline before being rebuffed by Las Vegas, so there's a legitimate reason to believe Dallas will make a play for him. Dallas has a need along the edge after failing to adequately replace Micah Parsons, and the Cowboys have the draft capital to pull off a blockbuster trade thanks to the 2 first-round picks they acquired from the Green Bay Packers, which gives the Cowboys a total of 4 through 2027. The Eagles acquired Jalen Phillips at the trade deadline to bolster their pass rush, and while Phillips played well, he's slated to be a free agent in 2026. Even if the Eagles bring him back, more help is needed, and we know general manager Howie Roseman isn't afraid to make big trades. The Patriots had a successful season that is still going, but after finishing with just 35 sacks during the regular season, which ranked tied for the 7th fewest in the NFL, it's pretty clear New England needs more juice. Because of the respect they have for Crosby, the Raiders are going to work hard to send him to a place he wants to go, and chances are Crosby is going to be looking for the best opportunity to win a Super Bowl. While the Cowboys should be a playoff contender in 2026, their chances of winning a Super Bowl won't be as good as Philadelphia's or New England's. What do you think? Like, comment and subscribe to the channel.